Well, hello everyone and welcome back. In our last video, we laid the foundation for a solid Django app, fully structured and ready for deployment. Today, we're taking a step further by configuring our production environment. We'll deploy the app to Heroku and set up our AWS S3 service to handle our static and media files. So let's dive in and get this app live. Step 1. Prepare your app for deployment. Before we can deploy our app, we need to make sure it is properly structured. One of the first things we need to do is gather all the dependencies we've installed so far. To do that, open your terminal and activate your virtual environment. If you're like me and you are using Visual Code, on the top bar, select Terminal, New Terminal. If not, feel free to use whatever terminal you want. And now in our project folder, we want to list all the folders and files. So we'll go ls in our terminal. We see we have a folder named backend, and this is where we're hosting all of our Django files. So let's navigate cd for change directory, backend, cd backend, there you go. And now we'll list again all of our files and folder, and we see that our virtual environment is named venv because I always name my virtual environment venv. So to activate our virtual environment, we'll type in source venv /bin/activate. Activate. Okay, so now that our virtual environment is active, let's run the following command: python 3-m pip freeze. Now, the freeze command will gather all of the dependencies we've installed in a list format, and now we'll pipe that list into a requirement.txt file. So this has generated a requirement.txt file, and that lists all of the dependency. This file is crucial to allow Heroku or any other server to install the exact same packages for our project needs to run. It is also useful when you're cloning a repository to replicate the same environment. We'll dive into repository and version control in future videos, but for now, let's focus on getting this app deployed. Next, now that this is done, the next thing that we need to do is we need to create a Procfile. This file tells Heroku how to run our app. Heroku doesn't automatically know what kind of app we're deploying or which command to use to start it. So the Procfile provides this instruction, and it must be placed at the root directory of our project. The root directory is where you will find the manage.py file. For Django application, the most common file, Procfile, will look like this, right? We'll create a file, and then we'll go proc, so capital P Procfile. Okay, so now that our Procfile has been created, we want to put in the first command line, right, that will tell our app what to do. And when we release the app, right, when we push our codes to Heroku, we want to run the command python manage.py migrate. So if we've done any migration during our development process, we want to make sure that those migrations have been applied to our production server. So this is the command that we run. So the next one will be web. This line belongs to the Procfile, which Heroku used to understand how to launch our web app, right? What would be the command for the production server to run the app? And it would be gunicorn, right? Gunicorn, gunicorn, then config.wsgi, then --log -file equals dash. Okay, so essentially what this does, right, the web, this is to specify the process type, and then Heroku used to determine which command to start the web server, the part of your app that handles the HTTP requests. You can also define other process like worker for background tasks, but web is required for the web-facing app. Then gunicorn config.wsg. This is the command that launches your Django app using gunicorn, a high-performing WSGI server that's great for production. Gunicorn is the server software, and config.wsgi is the entry point for your Django project. So there you go. That's it. Now we save our file. Now the next step that we'll need, the next file that we'll need to create will be runtime.txt. So runtime.txt. Okay, so now that our runtime.txt file has been created, we will simply mention which version of Python we'll be using, which will be Python 3.12. So there you go, save the file, that is it. So the next thing now, okay, step 2. So before we can deploy, we need to create our Heroku app and connect it to our project. So to do that, if you don't have one, press pause and go create your Heroku app and also install Heroku CLI. If you need a video about that, let me know, and I'll get a video. I'll make a video for it, but if not, it's very straightforward. I'm pretty sure you guys can figure it out. So now we'll need to, now that you've created your Heroku account and you've installed Heroku CLI, it is time to log in to your Heroku account. So to do that, we'll go Heroku login, right? Very simple. Press enter. Browser will pop up. We'll click login. It's going to ask me for my go. There you go. We're logged in. It's going to say that we're good to go, that we can close this right here, and then we can go back to our app, and it shows that we have logged in. So now we need to create a app. Okay, so to do so, we'll go Heroku create, and then we'll name our app. So for us, it's going to be Django tutorial dash sasknet, right? There you go. Create. Oh, I made a mistake. And create, there you go. So now it's going to create the app for us. And now it's showing us our app address, right? We got it right here. There you go. Let me open it up. See, welcome to Heroku. Your app will be hosted here. Perfect. So now, step 3. Configure your AWS S3 and create an IAM access. Okay, so now that we're logged into our AWS Management Console, let's navigate to our S3 service. So on the top left, in our service section, let's select S3. So here, we're going to need to create a bucket. A bucket is essentially the server that's going to host all of our files. So let's create a bucket, right-hand corner, general purposes, and now we're going to name it Django tutorial sasknet. There you go. We'll remove block all public access. We'll acknowledge that this may expose our bucket to the public, but it is a web app, so therefore we want that. We won't activate bucket versioning for now. Default encryption. So let's create the bucket. So now we see that we have Django tutorial sasknet, right? We click right here, and that's it. We see we see that the bucket has been created. So for now, that's all we need to do. Next thing is we need to create an IAM user. So again, in our service list, we'll select IAM, and now we'll click add user, right? So we'll create a new user, and this user will call him Django tutorial sasknet, right? Next, and then it will ask you to to add the user to a group. And if you don't have a group for your app, we'll need to create one. So we click on create group, and now we'll name this group again Django tutorial / sasknet, right? That's going to be the user group. We'll create that user group. There you go. That was pretty simple, right? So let's go look right here. We've got Django tutorial sasknet. So let's click right here. So earlier we created our IAM user. Now this IAM user will be part of a group, and that group, we need to give it some permission, right? So we'll click right here on permission, add permission, and we'll create an inline policy, right? So we'll go into JSON. Okay, so now that we are in JSON text editor, next thing we need to do is to give it some permission, right? So in the action section for right now, what we need to do, we need to give it permission to execute all action, right? Create, copy, delete, update, modify, whatnot. And then after the resource, we want to name what resource we will allow this this permission to do so. So to do that, right? There's two ways. We can go into our S3 right here, and this is the most sure way not to make a mistake. We go into our S3 bucket search section, and then we go into properties, and then we see right here we have our ARN, right, our Amazon resource name. We just copy it, then we go back to our policy right here, and then we just paste it, just like that. So that now that this is done, next, we'll again name this policy Django tutorial sasknet. Create policy. There you go. So now we go look at our user. So Django tutorial sasknet. This user is okay. So now that we've created our user group and we have attached a policy, let's create the user. So we'll go right here and we'll go Django tutorial sasknet. Then next, and then we'll attach that user to a user group that we've created, Django tutorial / sasknet. And then we'll click next, create user. There you go. Our user, Django tutorial, has been created, and this user is part of the user group, Django tutorial, that allows, right, if we navigate to the user group. It gives the permission to the user that is part of this group to be able, right, if we go into our permission, execute all action in the resource Django tutorial SaaSnet service, the S3 service, right? So this is what we've done so far. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to go back to our IAM user. And now we need to create some credentials. Let me close a few windows. So now we need to create a user. I'm in user group, sorry. Let's go to Django. There you go. We need to create some credentials so the app can log into the service. So, okay, so to do that, we just go into the security credentials section, and then we create an access key. And then in our list, we select other and next. And then what is the description? Well, it's for the Django tutorial SaaSnet app. Create the key. Now we see we have the access key and we have the secret key. So let's keep this window open for now. We'll get back to it in just a moment. So now let's go back to our S3 service. Is earlier we've attached a policy to our group, permission policy to our user group, but we also need to create a bucket policy for public read, right? To give it permission to expose it to the public. So we go to permission, and in our bucket list policy right here. Okay, so now we need to create the policy, and to do that, let's go into let's open up this right now for a second. And if you remember in our snippet, in our last video, we've have a bunch of snippet, and one of the snippet that I have is for the, give me a second there, for the policy. So if I go in my AWS and I look at the policy I have right here. Okay, so right here we'll copy our bucket policy, and we'll come right here, we'll paste it, and essentially what this does, it gives public read access, allows all the principal, all the action, and to the bucket name that we have named Django tutorial, and then SaaSnet. And all the folders from there will have public read access, right? And then we save it. Okay, so policy has an invalid resource. So there you go. See, we have made a mistake right here. It's a Django tutorial. We save. There you go. Everything is good. We can keep on going. Step 4. So now that we've created our Heroku app, and we've created our bucket and activated our AWS S3 service, the next thing we need to do is to configure our environment variable on Heroku. Heroku use environment variable to store sensitive information or project-specific configuration. These variables are not stored in your code base, keeping your app secure and configurable. So here are the key variable that we need right now. If we remember, we've created Django SaaSnet. Here we go. So here we've created our access key for our user. So that's one of the information that we don't want to host in our code base, and we rather host in our environment variables on Heroku. So to do that, we'll go right here in our terminal. Let's clear this up. And then we'll type in Heroku config, right? We want to config, and then we'll set. And when we say set, when we type in the command set, it automatically knows we want to set environment variables. And then we let it know that we want to set AWS. And you might be asking yourself, where am I getting this? Well, let's go into our config folder, into our production server. We see right here that we need to configure our AWS access key ID, right? This is where we're taking that as information. So we'll come right here, AWS key ID, we'll equal it to, and then we'll come right here and we'll copy our access key, right? And we'll go, there you go. And we'll copy it right there. Boom. So now we've set our AWS access key ID to the desired data, right? Okay, so the next one, right, would be the AWS secret access key. So again, we'll just right here erase this. And then the next one that we're setting is going to be our AWS secret key access. There you go. Enter. So why didn't this work? Because I didn't give it any data. Okay, so this information, again, is found right here when we created the user. So we copy, we come back here, open the brackets, the comma, close it down, enter. And now we've set the AWS secret access key. The next one will be our AWS storage bucket name, right? So same thing. Let's erase this right here. Copy this. Paste it here. And then equals, open bracket, and then Django tutorial dash sasnet. Did we make a mistake? No. There you go. Enter. Excellent. And then after, we also need to set up our Django setting module, right? Because right now our app is looking at our development files to launch our app. Now we want it to go through, we want it to look into the production. So to do that, we'll go again right here, to erase that. And then we'll go Django underscore settings underscore module equals comma config dot settings. Oops, let's remove the cap right here. Config dot settings dot prod and close the comma. There you go. And then after, we need to set our Django app secret key, right? This one you find right here. So we go again, we delete this right here, and then the secret key equals comma, we go into our dev section, and I'll teach you guys later down the road how to make it more secure, but for now, for this example, this will do. Okay, so now when we're setting our secret key, because the secret key could include some special characters, instead of using the double quote, we'll use the single quote. Press enter. There you go. Our key has been set. Okay, so there you go. Step 6. Okay, so there you go. Now we've created our virtual environment, our environment variables. So we need to push our Django app to Heroku. So let's initialize, or actually let's add all of our files to Git, to our repository. And then after we'll commit. There you go. Excellent. This is done. So we will, let's list all of our Heroku apps to make sure that we bind the right app to the right repo. So we'll go Heroku git remote our app, and then we select Django Heroku blah 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 Django tutorial dash sasknet app Django tutorial. Oh, I made a mistake there, but that's all right. Still gonna work. Awesome. And then the next thing we need to do is Heroku git Heroku. Sorry. I'll go git push Heroku master. Or is it main? No, it should be main. There you go. So now we're pushing our app to Heroku. And if all goes well, everything should be installing and running just fine. If not, if we made a mistake, we'll get an error, and that's okay. We'll fix the error. It looks like everything's looking good. So now that everything has been installed, pushed to our server, let's just make sure that our code has reached its destination. So Heroku open. And here we go. Now it gives us an application error, and that is normal. We will get rid of that in our next video. But for now, we have essentially a functioning app that is production and development ready, and we've tested our code base, send it to Heroku, and it is functioning with Heroku and our AWS S3 server. So there you go, folks. That's it. That's done. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.